He's Luke Loucks, and he's kind enough on a busy, busy day to join us here on the Jeff Cameron Show. Coach, how the hell are you, Luke? Good to hear from you.
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me, Jeff. Appreciate you having me on.
Absolutely, man. Good job at the press conference today. I know you're probably thoroughly exhausted, but as you said, you don't really have time to rest. I know you're going to be making your way up to watch the boys up in Charlotte. You've got to evaluate the players on this team. You've got to put together a staff. You've got to figure out who's in the portal, who's somebody you want to reach out to talk to. Have you wrapped your mind around the lack of sleep that you're going to have continued from the last few days in the next few weeks?
No, I think if you don't think about it, it doesn't really hit you. You just keep going. A lot of coffee, a lot of water. I realized I hadn't eaten all day. You have the press conference, there's food, but you're talking to so many people. And so we got back to our hotel over here, and I looked at my wife. I'm like, I'm starving. So my wife and I just drove over to Gordo's. I got a Cubano, some fries, extra Gordo sauce, and in between, I've just been on the phone. I've been calling agents. I've been calling guys that have guys that are going to the portal, and obviously looking forward to seeing our team play up in Charlotte tomorrow. So lots to do, a little bit of time, and we're going to get it done.
Those Cubanos are something special, are they not, brother? Man. Well done. Hey, so take me to the moment. I remember you and I have texted. I've told people that, obviously that you were a candidate. I mentioned all the candidates for the job. When did you think, you know what, I may get this thing? I know how much you wanted this job. I know how much you love this university. When did it become apparent to you that there was a good chance you were the next head coach at Florida State University?
Well, with the relationships I have internally, whether it be former boosters, former players, everyone was saying I had a shot, and you never want to buy stock in rumors. You never want to buy stock in what people are saying on the street. But I did feel okay about it just because you've spent so much time building and maintaining relationships here locally in Tallahassee, and they're authentic, right? I care about these people. I care about the city. I care about this place. So I always felt close enough to say, okay, I'm going to be in the mix. The reality is, and even let's take a step further. When I interviewed with Alford and Doug Walker and the search firm and the board, you feel good about what you got going, right? What you believe in, whether it be basketball strategy, what you're about, your values, all of that. You feel confident in what you're saying and you believe in it. It's easy to pitch. And so you walk out of those rooms feeling good about what you said. But the reality is there's a lot of good coaches out there. And a place like Florida State is going to garner a lot of interest with high level coaches, many of which have been doing it a lot longer than I have. So I never put a ton of thought into, am I going to get it? Am I not going to get it? You got to step up to the plate and swing. And that's what I did. And I was fortunate enough to walk away with the job.
Are you going to keep the couch?
Jeff, listen, I'm going to give Coach Hamilton as much time as he needs to in that office. I am good. I can work in coffee shops. I can work in parks. I'm sitting in my car right now, and I'm getting as much done in my car as I would in an office. So the reality is that's Coach Ham's office until he decides it's not. When it does transfer over to me, the couch will be out. The couch is going. We need some upgrades. Our style is not exactly the same, and that's no disrespect to what Coach Hamilton's got going in there.
You got your own thing, brother. You got your own thing, and that's as it should be. So when you get done playing internationally and you end up with a paid internship with Golden State, when do you realize, or did you already know, I know your family history. Did you say, I really want to be a coach? I want to make my way into coaching. And when you did that, did it occur to you that it would ever be in college? Or did you think, I'm going to track, as you did, to be an NBA head coach someday? What was the desire? What were your thoughts around coaching as you made your way professionally?
Yeah, there was always a desire to stay around the game in some capacity. And I didn't know whether it was going to be coaching, front office, executive work. But I enjoy the game of basketball, and I enjoy sports. I enjoy competition. So if you can make a living out of that, why not? Even considering going into media and doing sidelines, there's a general interest. As I got closer to the end of my career, coaching just made the most sense. I felt like I had a lot to give back. to the game. And a lot of what I learned from coaches, they were former players. You know, they had been in between the lines. It's one thing to teach, and you got to be able to teach in this industry, but it's another thing to show. And hey, feel what I'm saying, but let me show you what I'm saying. And I think players resonate with that. So I think coaching was just the most natural pathway to what I wanted to do post playing, and I'm just glad it worked out.
I obviously know, and you've referenced it, understandably, all that you learned from Leonard Hamilton and his influence. But I must ask you, as you came through the ranks, whether it be a Steve Kerr or a Mike Brown or a Monty Williams, so many people that you referenced today, who had the biggest impact on you in terms of your personal philosophy?
Yeah, it's hard to say the biggest. I think it's a combination, and that's all life. You can learn from everyone. You can learn from high school coaches. You can learn from coaches you don't even work with, coaches you coach against, and the strategy they use against you. And I think there's a lot of that. If I had to single out one person, it would be Mike Brown. I think we related a lot. We saw the game similarly in the sense of the attention to detail and the preparation and the importance of all the small things that go into winning. There's a lot of coaches that are big picture guys. Mike is very, very much a detailed guy. He's going to turn over every rock. He's going to know every play of the opponent. We're going to know adjustments to every play. There is no detail left unturned when you walk into that game. And I love that. You know, I love being prepared. I love knowing the answers for the test before you take it. So he's been an incredible influence on my coaching career. But the reality is, even Mike and Mike will tell you, we disagree with each other all the time on basketball philosophy, and that's what makes us close friends. We love, hey, is this a better way to do it? No, I think this is a better way, and both of you can be right. You know, there's a lot of different ways to play this game. But he's had a huge impact, not only on my career, but on my life.
I'm curious, while you were working with Sacramento before that Golden State, were you watching the changing? Well, you had to have been, but to what extent could you lock in on all the changes that have happened in collegiate basketball and player movement and unrestricted free agency, the portal, NIL? And did you begin to think, okay, I got to get a handle on this. Maybe one day I'll have an opportunity to be a coach. I have to be able to hit the ground running. Talk about your thoughts on that and what basketball is now as opposed to when you played here.
It's definitely it's changed a lot, and it's continuing to evolve as new rules kick in, and just even the game, not even the rules of college basketball, but the game itself has changed. It's becoming similar to a pro level game. And I'm fortunate enough to have multiple head coaches at Power 4 schools who I'm very close with. And so like Kevin Young, who took over BYU together, and Phoenix. And so obviously I got to pick his brain constantly about what he's going through. How's he dealing with recruiting, NIL, all of that. And he's done a great job in year one. Todd Golden over at Florida, he was at the University of San Francisco as an assistant coach when I was an assistant with the Golden State Warriors. So we played men's league together. Our friends, our wives are friends. And we used to talk about basketball all the time. He'd come to our Golden State practices. And then obviously his career took off. He became a head coach at San Francisco and then a head coach at Florida. And you see the type of teams he's putting together. And the list goes on. I mean, I could give you 10 other names of coaches at this level that I'm very close with. So the information flow was pretty natural in terms of my curiosity of, okay, I see this trend. This is more and more, I don't want to say likely, but more and more of a possibility that this could eventually happen. So you just make the right calls and get the right information, and then approach the next steps.
You mentioned it. You have a passion for this place, obviously. You grew up a Nole. You later became a Nole, played here, obviously. You've always watched from afar. I know just from texting you back and forth, you were always rooting for Ham and his program to continue to do great things. Now you get this dream come true. You get this job. And yet you have no, as I pointed out before, no time to really exhale. You've got to hit the ground running. You'll go up to Charlotte, but what's next in terms of order of operations for you? I'll let you get out of here. I know you got to go, but I'm curious, what should we expect to hear in the coming weeks from you about Florida State basketball, and I guess what are you prioritizing now?
Yeah, the first thing is to connect with, and for a lot of them, reconnect with all of the amateur, all of the coaches around the state of guys I'm going to eventually recruit. And a lot of those coaches have influence over the transfer portal because all of their kids who chose colleges and now those kids are transferring, that naturally they go back to their people, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so introducing myself, and a lot of them I've already had relationships with from growing up in Florida, playing youth basketball in Florida. I have a lot of strong ties around the state. So just reconnecting with all those people, obviously considering my staff, and I can't make any moves, nor will I, out of respect for Coach Hamilton and his staff, until they're completely finished. But obviously starting to put those pieces together and thinking about the characteristics and the type of people and all the relationships. I mean, there's been, Jeff, this is not exaggeration, over 150 coaches that have reached out wanting to be on my staff. And a lot of those are friendships, you know? And so you got to deal with that. You got to sort through that. You got to give people the time of day. And then aside from that, and maybe the most important part is, with Alford and with our administration and with our boosters, connecting with the donors and connecting with the people that give and connecting with the people that run the collectives. And all of those things are continuing to evolve, but all of those pieces to me are like minority owners of our team. Without their support, we don't exist. And so those relationships are real and they have to be maintained. And fortunately enough for me is I know a lot of those people from my playing days. And so with some of them, I maintain the relationship, some of them I haven't, but it's like a rekindling of, hey, I'm back. Let's do this together. I need your support. And obviously I hope you have some excitement about what I'm trying to build here. So all of those things are simultaneously happening. As you can imagine, my phone's died on me like 4 times a day. I'm constantly trying to find a portable charger or a plug to plug into. But it's been great, man. All good problems to have.
Wonderful problems to have. Luke, congratulations. I really look forward to covering the program and watching you develop it. We'll be in touch soon. Go do what you got to do. Thanks for making time for us. Be well, sir.
Yeah, appreciate you. Talk to you soon, man.
Yeah, take care. That's Luke Loucks. He's the head basketball coach at Florida State, and he is exhausted with no time to rest.